me is life itself. And that seems like a strong statement probably, but I love it so much that I feel like I can deal with the rest of my life and the problems and the stress and everything 100% better once I'm riding.
Racing's serious, but for me, just to go riding, it's a lot of fun.
It's very difficult, it's very demanding, it takes a lot of skill and a lot of determination to do well.
Well, you shouldn't get discouraged because it's not easy. It takes a long time and a lot of practice. Always ride with somebody that's better than you because you'll benefit more from that than anything.
To me, it's just the ultimate. It's kind of like therapy. It's just you and the bike, and it's just one-on-one.
I believe uphills are a challenge to any rider. Whether it's a small hill or a large mountain, the vertical is always the challenge.
Yes, killer hills are the stuff of which nightmares are made. To help you conquer these monstrous mountains, we asked Team Husqvarna's Larry Rossler to share some of his hill climbing secrets.
It can be a mile-high hill or just a two-story little climb. It's an obstacle. Doesn't matter how good, novice, beginner, expert. I think it's always challenging.
To conquer killer hills, you'll need these three things: good momentum, proper body position, and clutch and throttle control. To begin with, it's important to keep your momentum all the way to the top. Make sure you get your speed up as you approach the hill. Attack it in a higher gear, then shift down as the engine starts to bog. And if you don't get a good run at the base, it's better not to try at all. To maintain momentum, body position is also critical. You can't be a lazy rider. Rossler balances himself over the gas tank, keeping his head forward just above the bars. He moves back and forth with the bike, letting it pull him up the hill. He keeps his feet on the pegs to stay in control. It's important to be on the pegs so that your head remains forward and you don't slide back. If you do slide back, the front end will get too light and you might loop it. Be prepared to stand up and go with the flow of the bike, especially when rocks and other obstacles block your way. Stay loose and hold on as long as you can. If there's a lip at the top, you'll have to really lean forward to keep the nose down and get you over the ledge. To keep the engine in the heart of the power band, you'll also need good clutch and throttle control. Be aggressive and work the clutch to keep the motor revving. With the ledge in the middle of a climb, back off the throttle in the air, then flip it to regain traction. The same technique goes for rocks. If you hit one, don't panic. Back off the gas and clutch it as you roll across the obstacle. Then, get back on the throttle. As you can see, it's the rocks, the loose dirt, and the bushes that really make hill climbing such a joy. And of all the obstacles you can find on a hill, ruts can be the toughest. They're one of off-road's most common hazards, so scan ahead and avoid them if you can. But if your wheels drop in and you do get stuck, basically you'll have two options. Depending on your situation, it usually makes more sense to get off the bike and take it back down. Don't be in a hurry. Stay on the high side and rip the rear wheel out of the rut. Muscle the front end around until you're pointed back down. If you feel comfortable, get back on the machine and ride it to the bottom. Now you can try a different line. If you blow it again, but get closer to the top this time, ride it out if you think you can make it. Restart the bike, then floor it up the middle of the rut. You'll have to fan the clutch like crazy to keep from stalling one more time. Above all, when you're climbing killer hills, you have to be committed. Pick your line clear to the top. If you make a feeble attempt, chances are you'll get into trouble. Don't cop out when you're 3/4 of the way there. The result could be ugly. If you follow the proven dirt bike method using momentum, body position, and clutch and throttle control, eventually you'll get to the top. So you finally made it. Now all you have to do is get back down.
Probably downhills, I think, are the toughest. And the only way to overcome that sort of fear is to practice. And you don't start out on a big hill, you start out on a small one until you're comfortable with it. Practice body position, using the brakes properly, clutching the engine properly. And once you've overcome the small hills, you can move on naturally to the bigger ones.
The dirt bike survival method for downhills involves body position, line selection, but most of all, braking. Remember, once you've decided to tackle the downhill, again, you must be completely committed. It's impossible to stop once you get rolling, and to slow down is just as tricky. Exercise a delicate balance between the front and rear stoppers. The secret is to keep one or two fingers poised over both clutch and front brake, tapping lightly when you need to slow down. It's hard to say exactly how much pressure you'll need. You'll find out with practice. Never make any sudden moves with the front brake or with the rear. Clamping down will make the back end fishtail or stall the engine. With rocky slopes, you want to keep your speed as slow as possible, looking ahead for the safest line. Be careful not to grab too much brake or you'll lock up the rear wheel and lose traction. Concentrate, stay loose, and go with the bike as it moves back and forth. Body position is another crucial element. LR demonstrates perfect technique. He stands on the pegs, weight back, arms forward with his head over the bars. He doesn't wrestle with the bike, knowing instead that it's better to use a light touch on the controls. Actually, standing up is the only way to both brake effectively and get you over obstacles. If there's a ledge in the middle of your descent, let off the brakes and push out and away as you soar over. Then, get back on the binders. It's equally important to choose a good line. Check for a clear route all the way to the bottom. You won't always have the advantage of a smooth path, so be ready to handle the obstacles before you get to them. If your only line is right down a rut, take extra caution. Concentrate on making a fluid, steady descent using both front and rear stoppers. When the trail is overgrown with trees and bushes, it's hard to choose a line because you can't always see where you're going. That could mean trouble. This is one place you don't want to get caught riding alone. There is safety in numbers. Go slow. There could be a drop-off or loose rocks under the grass waiting to trip you up. If you have any doubts about your ability to conquer a downhill, don't try to ride it out. It might take longer, but find a different route or bulldog it to the bottom. The safest way is to stay above the bike and work it into position using the front brake. Remember, save yourself before you save the machine. But no matter how you decide to go down, use the dirt bike survival method to get you there in one piece. Braking. Balance carefully between front and rear stoppers. Body position. Stand up and stay loose. Line selection. Choose a clean line all the way to the bottom. And once you've reached flat ground,
You never really know what's around the corner, so you have to ride really smart, sometimes conservative.
There are rain ruts, there are drop-aways, there are jumps, rocks, you name it, there are problems. And what you've got to do is just approach every area with caution.
Be prepared for the unexpected. I don't know what's going to happen. I just go out and kind of try it, and if it works out, then I keep doing it. If it's something that I know I can't do, I won't even try it.
no matter what part of the trail you're on, there are plenty of hazards, seen and unseen. Underbrush like cactus and manzanita can be the worst. If you blitz right through, you can get stuck or flip big time. It might make more sense to walk the bike or look for a safer route. What looks clear just might be a dead end. And don't forget what's overhead too. One low branch can ruin your whole day. And check this out. Yamaha's Jim Hawley has his own method for clearing things that get in his way. You might want to use a more down-to-earth approach. Wheelie up and over. Of course, this technique doesn't work in all cases. Still, wheelies can be effective in getting past obstacles you just can't avoid. So what's the trick? How do you master the art of wheelies?
It's all throttle control and brake control is the whole key. I just never gave up till I did it. I just wanted to conquer it, and then I did.
There's a definite knack to maintaining your balance. Beginners might find it hard to pull off the slow wheelie. Practice giving it gas a little at a time, enough to keep the front end up without looping over backwards. And use the clutch to get you into the wheelie. Careful braking is also important. It's all in the back brake. Tap the rear binder to control the front end's attitude. The front brake is useless, but too much rear stoppage will stall the engine. The more time you spend off-road, the more you'll find that wheelies can help you conquer almost any obstacle. Even water. Although a lot of riders think a straight run can be much faster and drier, it's not always a good idea to use the bonsai approach. On the surface, water might not look dangerous, but you never know what's underneath. Concentration is essential. Keep your hands on the controls and look ahead, ready to steer away from obstacles that you do see. Remember to stay loose. Don't be afraid to sit down and use your legs as outriggers to keep you balanced. You'll bounce around a lot, but just go with it. A lot of times, the only way to overcome an obstacle is to get off and muscle the machine across. Slip the clutch until the rear tire grabs and you'll make it over. Always look ahead and be on the alert for slippery rocks, roots, sudden drop-offs, and mud. You don't have a choice. Mud automatically slows you down. It robs your momentum, steals your traction, and sometimes even spits you off. By the way, I guess wearing white leathers isn't such a hot idea either. The key to handling mud is keeping the bike moving in the highest gear without spinning the rear wheel. Now while we're at it, let's throw in another obstacle, like this ledge. Jumping ledges is definitely for the more advanced rider. If you think you're ready to tackle one, get a good run at the base and keep the front end high. If you don't get the front high enough, you could case it. So keep your weight centered, then lean forward as you clear the top. Sometimes you just won't make it, but your bike will. Make every effort to get it over the edge. Usually the problem is traction. Mud absorbs power and slows you down. If you find yourself sliding backwards, get off and away from the machine. Pull the bike carefully, holding the brake and staying above it if you can. And if the ledge or any obstacle catches you off guard, you might not want to try it at all. Traction was not a problem for these pilots. This maneuver is not for the novice. Approach the takeoff at a high speed, compress the suspension, then unload as you get airborne. It's not easy, but it is stylish. Ruts are another obstacle you can jump. Keep your speed up and lock the front end. If the landing side is higher than the takeoff, don't panic and come off the gas too soon. Jim Hawley specializes in gnarly gorge jumps. But when the drop-off isn't quite that wide, Jim just lifts the front end and rides across. If the drop is massive, ride through the rut and handle it as you would a ledge. It's not always as easy as it looks. Approach slowly, yank up on the bars, clutch it, then tractor over. If you have to, get off and use some muscle. Now let's hear what the dirt bike test team has to say about obstacles.
This one was kind of scary the first time I did it, because you had to swing out up onto the top to the right, going up this hill here, and then you hit this one little bump that's this 3 inches wide, and if you don't hit it just right, you take a chance in crashing.
Obstacles to me are the best thing over as far as riding, because there's something to conquer. You see something, you and your buddies are sitting up on a hill, hey, I wonder if I can do that hill, or I wonder if I can go over that log or that rock or cross that stream. It's a challenge, and it's something that once you've conquered it, you feel you've won, the machine's won, and it's your turn next to your buddy, see if he can conquer it.
Just the process of accumulating hours, getting used to the bike, getting used to the way it feels, getting used to the obstacles you're going to encounter off-road. And once you put your hours in, you're just naturally going to get better.
Just practice and try to have patience and just enjoy motorcycle riding.
It's great exercise. It's also a chance to get outside, explore, see new places.
I've been riding since I was about 4.5 years old, and just never really stopped.
Oh, it's definitely never too late to start. I think actually if you ride a lot, it keeps you young. So for someone who's just starting out, there's always a possibility that if you stick with it, practice enough, and have the talent, you'll get there. You'll be at the top.
I started riding when I was like 5, started racing when I was 12, and 25 now, so I put a lot of years into it, but even though I have a lot of years, I still don't think I know everything when I'm out trail riding.
In enduro riding or in off-road riding, it's you against the terrain. It's a personal thing when you ride. Don't try to do things that better riders can do. Don't try to attack. Don't try to jump things that are impossible. And always wear all of your gear: helmet, shoulder pads, boots,
Gloves, a long sleeve, heavy jersey, chest protection if possible. It's not absolutely essential, but it's a very good idea. And of course, the pants have to be heavy duty.
Definitely, you know, when you do go out to ride, you should always have the proper gear, you know, helmet, boots, leathers, etc. And you shouldn't always, you know, pretty much watch out for number one. You have to watch out for everyone else, especially out in off-road riding. You know, you may be just coming to the top of a hill, and someone on the backside may be getting ready to come down that hill. So you always got to have that, you know, in mind.
My biggest fear would be just going out riding, having fun, would be traffic, oncoming traffic of other trail riders. And I've hit a couple times, I've had head-on collisions, and I know of other riders that have. And you know, there's a lot of common sense, I believe, on the trail that should be taken. Sort of like driving on the highway, you know, stay to the right-hand side of the trail, right-hand side of the road. And I've come across people that are, you know, riding way too fast through blind corners or over blind rises. So that scares me. No one likes to be hurt, and the better the protective gear, just the safer the ride you're going to have.
You never really want to go riding by yourself, no matter where it is or how good you know the terrain. You should always take a friend.
As I get older, I find that I want to wear everything, because the chances of falling when you keep doing it are they get greater and greater, and you don't want to get hurt when you fall, because it just makes you more tense when you ride. And if you have protective gear on, I think you feel safer and you'll ride better.
Helmet and boots, no matter what. If you don't have those, don't ride. You never know what's going to happen. Where you're going to fall, or if you're going to fall. Someone's going to run into you. I never go out without a helmet on.
You think of it like if you're driving in your car on a dirt road at 10 miles an hour and you jump out and want to land on your head. Okay, that's the same thing, riding a dirt bike on a dirt road, and if you fall and hit your head, you're just going to get nailed. It's not worth it.
Get a bike. Get just enough gear, you know, enough protective gear so that you can ride safely and enjoy it. Buy a beat-up old bike. Get it in good shape, as good a shape as you can afford, and take it out and have fun.
It's such a thrill to ride motorcycles. Just getting out in the open and just getting on a motorcycle to me is life. And the day that I can't do that, I think I'll be missing a lot.
I just like it all.
It's a sense of freedom, a good form of therapy for me.
Dirt bike riding is tough, challenging, and strenuous, but the bottom line is, it's worth it. To get the most out of it, keep in mind these elements when confronting off-road obstacles. With hill climbs, you'll need momentum to get you all the way to the top. Proper body position to keep you on course, and good clutch and throttle control to maintain traction. Coming back down, it takes balanced braking to control your descent, good body English to handle obstacles you encounter, and careful line selection to make sure your route goes clear to the bottom. And work on your wheelie technique as much as you can. It's a vital skill that will help you master obstacles in all kinds of off-road situations. Because it's a fact, you are going to come face to face with obstacles wherever you ride, winding down a trail or blasting up a stream. So it's always important to concentrate on where you're going and to watch how the bike is reacting to the environment. Don't forget to stay loose and go with the flow of the bike as best you can. And most of all, don't try anything you aren't sure you can handle. If you can't tackle it, find a different way to go around the obstacle. These are some of the secrets we've learned through years of riding. Now you go out, create your own experiences using these off-road survival tactics.
Hi, this is Joe Columbaro of Dirt Wheels Magazine. We joined up with the Dirt Bike crew and put together another 30-minute video, this time with both dirt bikes and ATVs. You've just seen the dirt bikes. Now sit back and enjoy a sample of the spectacular ATV action. To order this new video, look for the ad in Dirt Bike or Dirt Wheels Magazine.